Showtime! The Capital G show starts right now.
What's up YouTube, Capital G here. So guys, once again I am doing a top 10 list. A lot of people seem to like the top 10 synchro monsters of all time, and I got a lot of positive reaction from those videos, so I figured I'd just continue to trend until either I get sick of it or you guys don't like it anymore, or you know, something in between. Anyways, today I am doing the top 10 fusion monsters of all time, the Yu-Gi-Oh hierarchy, and yeah, let's go ahead and begin. Number 10, Ultimate Blue Eyes White Dragon. This is the original icon for fusion monsters. I mean, Ultimate Blue Eyes took 3 copies of an already extremely powerful and rare monster, and it consolidated them into what was by far one of the single most powerful monsters in the game at the time. Sure, it didn't have an effect, but who gives a flying fuck when you had 4,500 attack ready and armed to lay up the smackdown on some candy asses. It also didn't hurt that it was one of the central themes of one of the best duels in the entire original Yu-Gi-Oh anime series. I'm talking, of course, Kaiba versus Yugi 2. And speaking of which, remember when Kaiba used Monster Reborn on a single head of Blue Eyes Ultimate White Dragon? Yeah, seriously, what the fuck was that about anyways? Number 9, Underworld Dragon, Dragonnecro. Once again, that name is wildly redundant. So I know what a lot of people out there are thinking, you can't put that on your list, G, it's not even out yet. Well, to that I say, quiet you, I make the list. Granted, obviously I can't judge Ekro on its impact of the meta, but when I look at the other parameters, I think that it clearly fits the bill. I mean, look at the power of the card, being able to run over pretty much anything and then have that monster's attack go to 0, get a token, and then run over the same card. I mean, that's pretty damn good. The token also isn't limited. You can synchro it, you can tribute it. Hell, even if Ekro dies, you still get to keep the token, which is good because that gives you field presence. You know, I don't really like the idea of me listing a card based on its potential, but I think that it fits in this case. And I also don't love that this card seemingly is having some type of huge identity crisis. I mean, just look at it. It's a dragon, but it's from the Underworld, which can be summoned by Dragon's Mirror, but only by removing zombies. That makes perfect sense. Said no one ever. Number 8, Chimeratech Overdragon. Ladies and gentlemen, meet the card that single-handedly got both Future Fusion and Overlord Fusion limited to 1. This card was, without a doubt, the core of what might have been, in my opinion, the most mindless OTK ever to exist in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And you want to know the worst part? Some like random 50-year-old dude actually won a Shonen Jump in Florida with it. How that happened is beyond me, but that's besides the point. I would still to this day argue that Chimeratech Overdragon is one of the most impractical cards Konami has ever created. I mean, it blows up your own fucking field when you summon it. What? Like, if that doesn't scream out, you sure as shit better win this turn, well then, I just don't know what does. Number 7, Chimeratech Fortress Dragon. You know, I'm not 100% sure on this one, but I don't think that any card to date has done more damage to machine decks than, well, Chimeratech Fortress Dragon. And yeah, I do understand that the irony there is like incredible. Anyways, Fortress might not have what I would call an extremely powerful effect, but its incredibly unique summoning conditions are what make this card so damn good. I mean, being able to wipe your opponent's entire board at the cost of a single Cyber Dragon, yeah, not only is that incredibly productive, but it never gets old, like, not ever. This card is so good at combating machine-based decks that still to this day, people will often side deck a single copy of this, usually in conjunction with a couple of Cyber Dragons coming out of the side deck so that you can make this card on occasion. And the fact that Dracosac is so prevalent right now just increases Chimeratech Fortress Dragon's usefulness. You know, Chimeratech Fortress Dragon might be like the lone card on this list that is actually just as viable now as the day that it was initially released. Number 6, Elemental Hero Absolute Zero. So yeah, Ab Zero is one of the few monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where if he's on the field all alone by himself with no protection, you don't tend to freak out and you actually feel good about your position. I mean, that built-in failsafe Regeki effect took a card that could have easily been, well, pretty average and took it into what I still consider to be one of the biggest pain in the ass cards to deal with in the game. You know, because no matter how your opponent tries to deal with Ab-Zero, whether it be through battle, destruction, banishing, hell, they can even take control of it and try and tribute it, he's going to torch their field. I mean, that is a guarantee. You know, Ab-Zero is so good that people often used to splash random stuff like Snowman Eater and Gemini Lancer into hero decks just so that they could potentially summon this guy. And I'm talking way before Bubble Beat actually became the textbook standard. I know he does have another effect, the whole 500 attack gain, which no one ever gets, by the way. I just thought I'd throw that in there. But I look at that as more or less just icing on the cake. I mean, this guy pretty much does what he does. You try and kill it, and I'm just going to Regeki your field. In fact, I almost feel like I'm talking myself into placing this card higher on the list. So, anyways, guys, this is obviously part 1 of the top 10 fusion monsters of all time, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Hierarchy. Come back tomorrow and you'll be able to see part 2. That is, unless you have future fusion, in which you just be able to activate it and watch part 2 like today. But I don't want to go into all of that. Thank you guys for watching as always, and I'm out. Subscribing makes life happy.